Roblox just isn't the same anymore, and I know we all know that. I've been playing this game for over 10 years, and I can confidently say this game's just been such a huge part of my life. And I think that's why it hits so differently now, because when I think about where it is now and where it used to be, like genuinely there was a time where logging into Roblox was just part of my daily routine. I'd come home, drop off my bag at the front door, open Roblox on my iPad, and play until it wasn't allowed anymore. That was like the daily routine. And while growing up, crazy thing is, it didn't matter what I played. It could literally be anything. Like working at a pizza place, you were just vibing and stuff, doing deliveries, being a cashier, or making the pizza. And at times, you're just witnessing chaos unfold. It's all like the ingredients flying around and stuff. But you know what? Just don't even get me started with the obbies, too. Gosh, I just remember everyone played an obby when you were younger, you know? I mean, who didn't play obbies? I strongly think that obbies and tycoons like the biggest thing in Roblox in the good old days. Like, those type of games were my version of brain rot. I mean, there were thousands of each type of game, and every one of them had their own plenty of cheap copies. Like, those games weren't perfect. They weren't trying to be. They were just fun. And there was something so genuine about that. You could feel that back then when people actually cared about their games. Not saying nowadays developers don't care. Don't get me wrong. There are some that 100% do care for the gaming community. But granted, even back then, there were some greedy son of a guns like there are now. The games were just so simple back then. Like people just made whatever came to mind. The games back then had more love, and then a little later on, you had the bigger games like Jailbreak coming out, and that was huge on its own. And it was just big old open world driving around, robbing places, stuff you never do in real life. Since you couldn't do in real life, you enjoyed doing it in game. I actually remember playing in the morning before class, so we started. Each one of my classmates, bro, it was like a banger. Like it was the game. It was something else. I loved it, and the memories I made within it were just amazing. I loved Jailbreak. Then there were the other games, the other big games back then, like Beast Swarm, which I think is still relevant to this day. I just haven't played it in forever. I can't. Just doesn't feel the same. The games, the bees, where you grind just for hours just to get a few more bees, because it took so long to like progress in that game. Especially now, God, when you actually got something new in that game, man, it was such a huge accomplishment. But man, I remember staying up and playing that game. As grindy as it was, trust me, it was fun. I loved it, man. Another great memory. I'll always cherish it in the back of my mind. Oh my gosh. And like that, what's it called? Oh, yeah, that one game that started it all for me here on Roblox, like back when I was still a guest. Freaking Pokemon Brick Bonds. May the game never be forgotten, bro. Which, it was honestly the best Pokemon experience I've ever had. I was like always too young to experience the Game Boy. I feel too old to play, these new Pokemon games that are out now and whatever they're called, like I don't even know. But Pokemon Big Bronze, that was the game, bro. That was the Pokemon game. Thinking about that game, bro, gives me goosebumps. But yeah, that is the game that started my Roblox journey. I mean, I can remember playing that game, going out, like, I can just remember, playing that game when I was on my iPad. And it was great because this is back when you still had guests in the game. Like, this is like back then, I remember I didn't get an account on Roblox for like 2 years, okay? And it's so funny because, like, the progress did not save. Like, once the guests were gone, I stopped playing Roblox for probably like 6 months. And I can remember my first account I ever made. It's like I am and like 17 eyes or whatever. Yeah, I mean, back to the game, Pokemon Brick Bronze, you just had to be there to understand. Like, it was just the Pokemon game, But like, damn, there's just so many games that I played when I was younger. I mean, they were all good in their prime. Like, yeah, like Booga Booga, Arsenal, Dungeon Quest, Pet Simulator, Islands, Sky Wars. I mean, like, I'm definitely forgetting many names. They were all great, man. All those games were just absolute peak. They were just beautiful in their own ways, So many memories were made with each one. But it's just unfortunate how most of them games, those games just like died off. I mean, Jailbreak and Arsenal are still decently relevant, and maybe like Beast Swarm as well. But like, come on, they're not as relevant or as good as they used to be. Especially like Jailbreak. Holy crap, there's so many sweats. But I guess it goes with most games. We all just evolved. We got better. But here's the thing: it wasn't just the games; it was the feeling, the stress-free life while playing. You get on, something good was waiting for you. I miss that. I genuinely miss that. I bet many people do. But that's the thing. I believe most people don't understand that they don't really miss the game. You don't miss the game. You miss just being your own self. You miss when you were making the memories. When time didn't go as fast, when sleeping was a punishment, when life was stress-free. And the only stress you had was whether you and your friends were going to be playing this weekend, or if you freaking had Hot Pockets in the freezer. ready to be cooked later that night. But we all remember those days. But man, aside all that, Roblox is just like going down a deep rabbit hole. The chat restrictions, the safety restrictions, whatever. Once the schlep situation started, it all started going downhill. Like the CEO, Bazuki, definitely resigned. I think there's even a petition out there for it. The game meant so much to people. People had made memories, created friendships, made businesses. Well, the business part is a stretch, but like I know there were companies that rely on Roblox to make money. But anyways, this game has gone kaput. You know, Roblox is just, it's not dying, but like at heart, it feels like it's not doing too well. I could be lying a little bit. Well, I'm not lying. I could be exaggerating. You know what I mean? But I feel like the games are a little too simplistic. You know what I mean? It's just getting a little boring with the type of games that are out right now. But that could just be me. I don't know. Just all those brain rot games, man. You know, while writing this script, I had a little wave of realization that Booga Booga was one of my favorite games that I ever played on Roblox. And it's the exact reason why I am where I am today. And it's just crazy for me to think about because of a Roblox game, my online life was changed forever. I was just chilling in Booga Booga on my good old iPad. And boy, were those the good old days, chilling on my iPad playing games. But anyways, I was in game, you know, just running around. It was one of those days where I just didn't feel like fighting, you know? I mean, you know, I just felt like being nice. And I came across this one dude on one of the main islands. For the sake of the story, I'll call him Jay. And I didn't kill Jay. I don't know why, but we got into the same tribe. We played together for like a couple hours and we just helped each other. We played together. That was it. I mean, I guess we just hit it off so well. He added me. After he added me that one day, we never talked or played again. But then strangely, you know, after, you know, not playing after together for after a few days, I had, you know, still barely knew the guy. And I was in some Discord server, a YouTuber Discord server, right? I don't know what I had said, but it was one of those Discord servers where you could just talk with other people in the general chat. And I think the YouTuber was called like 3SB Games. And at the time of this recording, you know, they haven't posted in like a year, but that's besides the point. So I'm in the Discord server, I say something in general chat and I get an ad. But at the time, right, on my iPad, I never had notifications on, right? So I didn't add him back because I didn't know who it was. So if I ever wanted to see what notifications I got, I would have to physically check in messages if I wanted to see who texted me in whatever app, Roblox, Discord, etc. A couple days later, I went to check Roblox, and what do you know? I figured it out that Jay, you know, he texted me in Roblox and said that he randomly saw me on Discord, and I was like, wow. So from that day on, 5 to 8 years between that time period, I had his Discord. We played Booga Booga together. I met his friends. I stopped playing with Jay after like a year or so. I mostly played with his friends. Those are the people I played with most back in the day. When I got my first laptop, his friends, you know, got me into playing Valorant. And after some time, I also drifted away from the friends. But, you know, they're all friends that I'll never forget. They were great. But once I slowly stopped playing with them, I loved Valorant. It was my first FPS game that I played on PC, so it wasn't too good. But while playing the game, I met a few people that, you know, had pretty big impacts on me, right? But there's just one guy. His name, you know, for the sake of the story, let's call him Jose. Jose had stolen my main character at the time, which was Yoru, right? I love them, right? But I remember telling him to lock in because he stole my favorite character because no one else played it at the time. Of course, you know, I wasn't serious about him locking in, but for the sake of the game, I was always like being funny and getting mad, but I'd always end up laughing because I really seriously didn't take it that seriously. But after the game, we added each other, and Mr. Jose became one of my closest friends online ever, excluding ShadyCon, which if you haven't seen my TikToks or YouTube, welcome. My name's Yak. Welcome to my videos. And again, if you haven't seen my videos before, ShadyCon's been in other videos, and I don't count him as one of my closest friends online because I know him in real life, so it doesn't really count. Jose and Shady and I, man, we were like unstoppable trio for like 2 to 3 years. And man, were those definitely the peak of my gaming life. But unfortunately, inevitably, all good things come to an end. And Mr. Jose, unfortunately, he had to slowly part his ways. But just to clarify, he is not dead. Just slowly stopped playing as much. He has responsibilities as a man. And due to him having personal, you know, life problems, I'm in no position to speak for him. But it happens, you know, we grow up, we gain responsibilities. And because of our responsibilities, it makes us miss being young, being nostalgic. We miss being stress-free. In the end, this all happened because I decided not to kill that man in Booga Booga 8 to 9 years ago. And because of that decision I made, I have made many friends, have had many experiences, and best of all, I made memories, amazing ones at that, and all because of Jay. So remember, don't take the small things for granted. Don't take the people around you for granted, because sometimes the most important things that ever happen to you starts with the smallest decision. Thank you, Roblox, for all the memories you helped me create, and thank you to all my friends that I ever had online. You guys will never be forgotten, and thank you for watching.